Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited about this part 2 of the e-learning webinar for early childhood. My name is Layla Shatara, and I'm with the Council of Islamic Schools of North America. I'm the president, and I'm also the head of school at Nur al-Iman School in New Jersey. And Sheza Khan, who is the executive director of ISLA, and I will moderate this session. So we have a few presenters who will introduce themselves and do their presentations, and then we'll have some time at the end for a Q&A, inshallah. Okay, Sheza?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Yeah, I just want to pop in here and say salam. So thankful for you all to join. Just want to remind you all about our Zoom rules, our Zoom norms. Please keep yourselves muted or we will mute you. We are inviting you guys to have your cameras on when it's Q&A, but of course with hijab we're recording. And beyond that, just if you have questions as you're listening, feel free to use the group chat and we'll be sure to read those out and respond to you. Lastly, if you are interested in joining our email list, please just type your email address in the chat as well, and we will send you an invitation to join. Thank you so much, Sister Layla, and all of our presenters.
Ms. Omnia, would you please introduce yourself and then go ahead and begin.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Omnia Haddad. I'm so glad to be here today. I'm from Bayaan Academy. It's in Tampa, Florida. Inshallah, today we're going to talk about some tools about distance learning for kindergarten. I teach kindergarten at Bayaan Academy. So first thing, I'm going to show you what we're going to talk about in my PowerPoint or the slideshow. I'm gonna show you my schedule. I'm not gonna go in details, but you're gonna see the schedule in general, what it should be. Of course, it's a little bit different than the regular days in school because due to how many hours you have, it's totally different now. So I'm gonna show you the curriculum that we use and also some very helpful reading website. And another website, it's called ISLA. It's really good website for math skills and English language art. And also I'm gonna try to present some tips and activities for the kids for the e-learning. And I'm gonna show you some free website that is gonna be very helpful. It has some fun activities for the kids. You can do it either during class or the kids can do it at home after class. So as we all kindergarten teacher, we do our best to plan for the lesson. And also we do a lot of, in class, we do a lot of activities. So now during this time, we feel like it's gonna be so different because it's a distant learning that we don't see the kids in class. So actually, if you look at it from the other side, it is gonna be the same. So you're teaching the kids the same thing you do in class. It's just the short time and it's not hands-on, but you still can do this if they have some materials at home or anything that they can do some activities. So I'm gonna show you the first thing that this is my daily schedule. Very important greetings that the kids, the first thing in the morning, because they used to see you in class, they come, they shake hands or they smile at them. Same thing you do in the e-learning. Once I log in, I see all the faces. I have to check on them. Did they sleep well? How was their morning? Did they eat breakfast? Everything before we start to learn. I don't go straight forward. Let's get ready. Have your pencil, paper. Of course not. I make sure everyone in class, I see all the faces. They're all happy, and then we start. My first thing I do in the schedule is Smart Start. I call it Smart Start because it's very important. So the first thing, I make sure they all have their pencil and paper, or they can have a whiteboard. If they don't have the whiteboard, they can use pencil and paper. We go over the side words, which is spelling word or word wall, whatever you call it. So spelling word, we go over the old one, plus we have a new list. So I have so different ways that we go over the spelling list. I can show you this after on the coming up slide. After we do the review for the spelling words, I go over some blending. So we do, like for example, this week we have letter L. So we blending letters, any word start with the letter L. And after we do blending, I do dictations. We have some few words we learned in class in the previous lessons, so they already know them. So every morning we have different words that they already know, so we have dictation. They learn the spelling in that way. Very important to have break after, because Smart Start has a lot of work to do. So after they finish the Smart Start, it takes about 30 minutes. I give them a break because kids in this age, there's no way they sit on the chair. You all know in class, we have hands-on, they get up, they do activity, they stand up, they have recess, all that stuff. So distant learning is gonna be different, and it's the kids even, they cannot sit on the chair for that long. So once we finish the Smart Start, we review everything we want, I give them a break for 7 minutes. They can do anything they want. They drink water. They can play with their sibling. They can do anything. They have 7 minutes. They know that. I put it on the screen. Like I share the screen. I put 7 minutes break. And I draw some stuff in it so they see. And every time they go get something, they look on the screen, make sure they still have the 7 minutes. After it's over, I write on the screen, break time over, come back to your chair. So they all know. So after we finish, I start the reading. Reading is the Superkids curriculum. I don't know if anyone familiar with the Superkids. It's really fun curriculum for language art, and it helps the kids with vocabs, writing, spelling, even songs, everything. So it takes this reading curriculum. It takes about 45 minutes for my class. And then also it will be including writing. I'm gonna show you some example for the Superkids in the next slide. After we finish the reading, before we start math, I go for another break. They have to take another break. Then this age, they're only 5 years old. So this is what we do also in class. But the only difference is the time. So in class, they do one in the morning and one in the afternoon, but here it's gonna do it all in the same time. And then after the break, we do the math. Sometimes, I'll give you some tips, sometimes after they come back from break, we chat a little bit about any letter. Can you look around your room? Can you find anything start with that letter? All right, can you find me anything look like a square in your room? Some activity to get them on. Again, not everything is gonna be paper and pencil all the time, writing. In this age, they need more activity. And then at the end, I have some websites. I go for science and social study that are covered by Florida standards, which Brain Pop and other website. I use it to go over the lessons for science and social study. So this is the Superkids I was talking about. This is a very wonderful curriculum. It's only from kindergarten to 2nd grade. They give the kids all the skills that they need for Common Core state standard. Have vocabulary, it has reading, it has letters. I mean, everything that they need in this curriculum. And the kids get really excited. I'm gonna show you just some examples for what we do. Interactive activity. This is, the kids loves it. They can play with it, and I do it in class too. Sometimes after we finish our work, we can do it. This is how they write. We don't have that paper right now, but we do it in a whiteboard or any paper that's available at home. So this is the website I use right now in the distant learning. I never used it before, but once we start doing the e-learning, I search up some websites for reading, and this website is wonderful. You can do it in class. They love the story. It has a bunch of stories. And also you can create an account and sign all the kids and send an email to the parents. Very simple and easy. And then I can assign homework for them. They can read it, they can listen to it. After that, they have small quiz. They ask about vocabs or what they think about the story, all kinds of stuff. It's really wonderful. I recommend it to everyone. It's free, so it's very easy to create an account. This is another website. It's called IXL. I've been using this website since the beginning of the year. It's wonderful. It has everything. It has math and also language art, science and social study. Also, I create an account. I assign all my kids to the account, and I assign homework to them. This website, amazing for math. They have all kinds of skills that kindergarten needs to know, and also for language art. It's fun. It has activity, pictures, sound, everything. But make sure when you assign homework or work in the class, make sure you already taught them this before. So don't give them anything because they have to know it before you assign to it. It's really important because sometimes you forget you're gonna assign this homework and you didn't teach it in class. The kids will get really confused. This is some tips and activities that I do in class during the e-learning. So sometimes, like I said, I told them, if I see them boring or they're getting tired, sometimes you see some of them put their head down on the desk or start walking around in the room. So I told them, okay, let's do this. Find any letters in your room in 3 places in your room. So they start walking around and they love it because they show each other. It's like show and tell. So they try to grab any toys, anything in the room, and they start showing each other. And at the same time, they're learning the letter of the week or any letter they learn in the best. Also, I told them, like for the side word, rainbow writing. So they get all the colors. It's the same thing they do in art. So they get the color, they write the word or the side word, and then they start getting another color, go over like the tracing, and they go over the word again and again, all the colors until it shows like rainbow. That way they try to learn the spelling for the word, and also it's activity for art. Pyramid, build a pyramid. They love this. They write the word, the spelling word. They start from the first letter on the word, and then every time they go down, they add another letter until they go all the way in the bottom of the pyramid, they have the word. They can, for writing, I give them some fun activity. I tell them, write the notes for anyone in your house. Thank you notes, miss you, anything that you think that helps them writing, and in the same time, it's not boring. It's the activity for them, they love to do it. Find any shapes around you, shape like rectangle, circle, anything like that. If they can have time or the weather is fine, or parents allow them to go outside, I'll let them go after class, collect some rocks, for example, different shapes, and then just show it to me in the next day, and they sort those rocks in the different ways, like it's bigger, it's looks darker, it depends on how it looks. And here's some free websites. I use them all the time for the kids. If I have time in class, they love it. It has a lot of games. You're more than welcome to use them. Or I can, if you want me to email it to you, or the PowerPoint, I can send it to everyone. It's a really good website. They're all free. You can use them anytime, and even you can recommend it to parents. They have plenty of time. The kids sitting at home, they didn't do anything. We have the class in the morning, and then you'll be done all day. So this is a very good website, or it can help them to fit the day for them. And at the end, I like this quote. When you are going in a hard time, Allah is always quiet. Same thing. Just remember the teacher is always quiet during a test. So alhamdulillah, e-learning so far is going smooth, and the kids loves it. I was very nervous at the beginning when we know that we're gonna do online learnings. It's my first time. I'm sure everyone is first time, but alhamdulillah actually is going very good. It's just to have to be organized, have your schedule, have your time for each thing, and then be creative, think of some activities that can help the kids replace them not being in school. So that way the kids don't get bored, and at the same time they're learning and they cover all the curriculum and everything that they need. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask.
Thank you so much, Sister Omnia. I really appreciate that. So Sister Layla will go ahead and make Sister Melissa the co-host now, which means that you will lose your co-hosting abilities.
Okay.
And in the meanwhile, I just want to thank you so much. Really, I think that that was really beneficial just to
Alhamdulillah.
see exactly how you're doing that. And inshallah, we will have some time for question and answer, but to be able to provide the other 3 presenters some time, we will save those question and answer period for the end. We're going to ask you guys to go ahead and type your questions in the chat box as you see them. And also, or as you think of them, sorry, I'm writing them down so that I don't lose that. And the other thing that I want to mention as Melissa is becoming co-host and setting up her PowerPoint and shared screen is go ahead and if you would like to receive the PowerPoints, if our presenters will be generous enough to share that, we will forward that along to you all. So please place your email address in the chat box, and inshallah we'll send that to you.
Melissa, I don't, sorry, thank you, Sheza. Melissa, I don't see you on my screen. Did you get the share screen ability? Do you have, Melissa, where are you?
You see Melissa Tauheed is over there. Did you invited her?
I did, and now she's unmuted. Melissa?
Yes.
All right. Welcome. Where are you?
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm trying to navigate.
Monaza has
I'm trying to find you among these 100 and some people. There you are. Okay, so I just gave you co-hosting ability. You can now share your screen and tell us a little bit, maybe introduce yourself to everyone, and then you can begin your presentation.
Leila, I see that Monaza is co-host, not Melissa. Did it maybe by mistake?
Let me see, where's...
Sorry, by mistake I clicked the button.
No, it's okay. I think you were invited by mistake, so that's all right. I'm sure you have something to share too.
Where did Melissa go?
She's right at the top. I see her at the top, 4th, 5th down. Or you could type her name in the search box.
Yeah, there's something. I love Zoom. Don't we all love Zoom? I did click on Melissa before. I don't know what Zoom did, but I clicked on Melissa. Okay, so now you're co-host. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Okay, so you can start sharing your screen and then maybe introduce yourself first, please.
Hi, I'm Melissa Tauheed. I'm the director of Rahmah Nursery in Baltimore, Maryland. We're part of Islamic Society, the greater family of Islamic Society of Baltimore. So we've been doing e-learning. I think this is the 3rd week. Alhamdulillah, it's been going well, alhamdulillah. I'm still trying to find this slide.
Do you have your slides open?
Yeah, okay.
And then you see share screen at the bottom?
Okay.
Do you see the share screen button at the bottom?
Yeah, I do. Hold on just a second. But I can't see the, okay. I'm like using my husband's computer and it's like a MacBook. Okay, I think I got it. Here we go.
Okay, good. You want to make it
Presentation. Okay.
yes, there you go.
All righty. Here we go. All right. Okay, so how do I move the screen to the next?
You should see your PowerPoint, right? There you go.
Okay, right, got it. Okay, so I already introduced myself. So like I said, I'm part of Islamic Society of Baltimore and Rahmah Masjid. We serve children from 2 to 5 years old. So our program is in 3 parts. We have the Google Meet, similar to Zoom, a Google site that we created that has all the classes, and a learning kit that we send to the parents. So I'll go step by step to each. So the Google Meet is when the students meet with their teachers. We don't want to do a lot of meeting with their little ones. We actually cut our program into a half day. So the parents pay half tuition, and we kind of make it half day for them. So they meet in the morning. They sing, like similar to what the sister said, you know, they chat, they sing songs, they recite, they play games, they do story time. Then any questions that the parents or anybody has, they can answer there. So the site, the Google site, is just a website, and it has it's posted. We have activity posted daily, and then the activities are in sections, and it's not mandatory. You don't have to turn anything in. They can use it or not use it, and the post, they stay and then they come back. They can come back anytime to look at previous posts. So, oops. Okay, how do I go back to the other slide? Okay, here we go. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so I was gonna take you to the website just to show you. This is the website that we have. So we have a comment from me, and then we have posted the schedule for the 2- and 3-year-old and the pre-K schedule. So in the morning they have activity time. So we try to match it to where it's similar to what we do if we were there. So in the morning we have activity time, then we have outdoor time, then we have presentation with the teacher, and break and lunch, nap time, reading time, snack time. They don't have to do this schedule. It's up to them. It's just like a suggestion. And then in the first link is the parent link, and it shows all the Google Meet links. So in each classroom, we have Sweet Honeybees, Apple Blossom, Bright Sunflower. So each classroom has their own Google link and the time that they meet. So if the time the parents loses their email or something, they can just go to the website and click that, and then they'll be sent to the meet. Like I said, each classroom, we have Sweet Honeybees, Apple Blossom, Bright Sunflower. These are the pre-K classroom. I'll show you some of the things. So this is the first week we did. So we have activity. It's loading. So these are the materials that the teachers give me, and then I just post it. So I man the website, but the teachers find the materials to put on the website. So this is Quran, Arabic, and Islamic studies. So some of them, they just take a picture of their workbook, and they can print it, and some of the worksheets, and then they post a story with comprehension questions at the end. So each classroom is similar. We'll go to another classroom. Just I patterned it to where the schedule is the same. So we start off with the activity in the morning, and then Quran and Arabic, and then ELA, English, and then math. So now I have to go back to my slide. Okay, there we go. All right, so am I going the wrong way again? Yes, I'm going the wrong way. All right. So the learning kit is the materials that that we put. As you remember, if the activity, the first thing that they do, we put all the materials such as, you know, pom-poms, construction paper, craft sticks, bees, pipe cleaners, all those materials we put in a bag, and then we tell the parents to come pick it up at the school, and whoever didn't come pick it up, I just delivered it to their house. Alhamdulillah, everybody kind of lived near the area, so it wasn't It wasn't a problem. And all the materials that the parents get will be used during the week or the next week. Whenever, inshallah, we'll restock the learning kits, the supplies in another week. And then, whoops, keep going the wrong way. So it looks similar to this. We just put it in a Ziploc bag, but there's just a sample picture of what we sent to the parents. So they have hands-on materials to use, and the teachers can say, hey, did you do this activity? And then, you know, show me. And then they have all the materials they need. They don't have to go to the store and buy it and things like that. So, oops. Okay, so this is the schedule, closer look at the schedule. Like I said, the only thing that is not, that they have to do, they have to attend is the Google Meets with the teachers. So the activity time, they don't have to do it at that time, but we have materials for the activity in the website, so they can do it at that time. It's just a suggestion. And then the reading time comes at last. So, you know, sometimes to end it all, inshallah. So this is a 2 or 3-year-old. As you can see, they just meet for 15 minutes. They, you know, they have very short attention span. So we don't, you know, we don't make them sit too long. Whoops. And then the pre-K, the teachers, meet the Arabic teacher, was divided because all the pre-K, we have 3 pre-Ks, so it was just too much to do and meet with all of them together, so we divided it in half. So I just divided it with students' last name, A to H, and then the other, and then at 11:30, the students with last name H to Z. So so they get to meet both teachers every day. Okay. Oops. Any questions? No.
Thank you so much, Sister Melissa. I do see a few different questions coming up, but like I said, just in the interest of time, we're going to continue on. We really appreciate that presentation. I think that it provides a lot of concrete and a very different approach than what Sister Omnia was describing with her kindergarten class, which is a different age group. But we will go ahead and transition over to Sister Hanan and Sister Dalia. Sister Lela will now make them.
Sister Hanan and Sister Dalia, which one of you is going to share your screen? Sister Dalia.
Sister Hanan will share screen first and then I, but please keep us both unmuted.
Okay. You're both unmuted now, and I will, Dalia. Oops. It's H-E-N?
Yes. H-A-N-E-N.
Okay. Okay, you should be able to share your screen.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself before you begin, please?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Hanan Dahmani. I'm the lead teacher for the early childhood for Arabic and Quran at Bayaan Academy in Tampa, Florida. I will be presenting with Sister Dalia. She's the director for Quran department at Bayaan Academy, and she's the chairman for Nurania practice and training in US and Canada. Inshallah. present together today. Our outline session will have recommendations, some sample videos that we took yesterday at the last minute, and inshallah, Sister Dalia, she will try to show some of you about how to make PowerPoint slides.
To make it interactive.
Inshallah. First of all, I have to tell you about our I have to tell you of,
I want to say something to everyone. Sister Hanan's first language is French, second language is Arabic, and third language is English. So inshallah, she's wonderful. She's a beautiful person, and she does wonderful with the kids. So تفضلي Sister Hanan.
inshallah, first of all, I have to tell you about our Quran program for Quran and Arabic. It is built on hands-on activities and skill-based activities that are interactive, animated, and we use it in we follow our we follow teach, practice, then assess in every period of our classes, and once we shifted to learning, our very own Sister Dalia shifted all of these interactive activities into interactive and animated PowerPoints. First of all, our recommendation is to make we divided the classes into small sized classes, and we alternate the classes with the Arabic and Quran. Like one of the teachers teaches Arabic, the other teaches Quran, and we alternate to make them meet both teachers. Then the class time was reduced, and it was, alhamdulillah, it was a wise decision from our administration. We set up also the Google Classroom for communication with the students and parents, and we set up we schedule our Zoom meetings. It was alhamdulillah by now it's alhamdulillah working really well, alhamdulillah, for now. For our presentation and practice in class, we share the screen with the students with engaging and animated PowerPoints. We also use some short videos, some songs, and Arabic stories that was written with Sister Dalia. Made these Arabic stories. And some of the things that we should recommend, that the show and tell. For example, we can ask some of the students to go get something and talk about it in Arabic. We're trying to teach them with this. A lot of vocab. Then when they go, they can describe what they have. Then the other students will be able to guess what they have. They can talk about color. They can talk about size. And alhamdulillah, they're using some Arabic words to make their friends know what they have. We were able, alhamdulillah, to send some activities home. They were parents were able, alhamdulillah, to help their kids to cut some activities cut, color, and sort into labeled cups. The activity was about the 3 types of word, اسم, فعل, and حرف in Arabic. And we shared this at class, and they were excited to do it together. And alhamdulillah, it was something to work on at home, then to share it in class. Also, we keep involving parents with if any issues with the students. We keep the Zoom conference to solve this. Also, we assess our students using the online quizzes on Google. Also, we have in PowerPoints, we have some quizzes that have that check mark, and the student gets so excited about this. You will see some of our videos, and you're gonna see how kids get engaged about that and get so excited to learn with this. Inshallah, now Sister Dalia will talk to you about her part, inshallah.
So basically, it's like Sister Han said, it's the same a plan of work. We teach, we practice, we assess, and we try to do that within a much shorter time. But actually, we thought that the kids are doing very well in e-learning, and for some of them, it's more interesting than sitting in class. And as long as you can put something that's engaging, they will keep paying attention. In class, even in class time, the K4 and the K3 had their moments when you need to bring them back in. So the same thing on screen as well. So shifting to e-learning, keep in mind, Sister Hanan, if you can go to the next one, keep in mind your objectives. More than ever, you need to know it because you have very limited time, you have very limited span of attention. So you need to know what I want out of every class. Your objective has to be very clear to you, and you have to prepare your material that serve those objectives. Class, Google Class, they have to go somewhere and find class like we did. So the previous presentation was beautiful, starting with the 3 things she's doing. That sending the learning kit is one of the things that was very interesting, and Sister Hanan does something like a little bit like that, which she sends by email or also by physical pickup or mailing stuff, that the parents would work a little bit on something with the kids. And parents have been enjoying working with the kids. They tell her, we're learning Arabic with our kids. And then when she goes on class time, they have something already to share. They have those sorted cups, and then they would show her what they have in the cup and if they got it right or wrong. Class procedures, you have to try to keep it as close to class procedures as you can on an online. You will not be able to tell them this is how we're going to pass the papers, or this is where you're going to get your Quran book, but you're going to keep the same rules about permission to talk, and about we enforce school uniform and how she's sitting, and no eating or drinking, and all these things. You need to keep in mind your class building more than ever, because now everybody's on a screen at home. You really want to keep having this community feeling. You have to encourage the kids to give each other the thumb up, or to say to someone, mashallah, you got this right, or I liked it when you encourage them and you give them points for being kind to each other and making those comments and keeping the feeling of unity in the classroom. You have to differentiate, big deal, because also you have to keep them in front of the screen. So you have to make sure that everybody has something that he likes to do. You can have those who love nature, you can send them outside the class time and ask them in an assignment to go take pictures or take a video of an anthill, or pick the nicest flower, or show us whatever you have at home or something like that, so that they can also go in their backyard and do what they want to do it as a nature lover. And then you can also give those who, it's mostly visual, so those who are visual are going to be having their life time. And then those kind of static kids, you can also give, like, for example, spelling aerobics. I want to spell this word, so let's say which letters go above the line, which letters go under the line, which letters stay between the line, and we're going to all do spelling aerobics. They get off their seats in front of the screen and they keep jumping and showing us the spelling of the word, saying each letter with the move that goes with it, and so on. Movement, keeping in mind movement is very important. breath exercises, giving breaks, and so on. What you are doing is you're basically enforcing what they did. You have like what? How many weeks are left in the year? Very few weeks. So I found that it's very good use of the time is to really enforce what they learned from vocab, what they learned from whatever skills in language and math and so, and introduce a little bit new along with it. Keeping in mind practicing and quizzing in within the class time. Go on, Sister Hanan. Yeah, Sister Hanan always agrees with me. Kids like to see something they know. They don't get bored. They don't say, we did this before. On the contrary, the little ones particularly, they like to see something they know how to do, and they like to show you that they know how to do it. So enforcing an older material is not a bad idea, but you're presenting it in a different way and making sure they understand it and they are able to use it. Flipped classes helps a lot with the time if you can insert voice recording in your PowerPoint and make a nice presentation and send it, and the kids can see it. It could be a story that you're going to tell them. So you can send the story, you read the story to them, you highlight some vocabs, and then you touch on the story again in class in much shorter time. Phonemic awareness, a lot of fun there when you can just post on the slide just a word, and then they take turns in clapping or in counting how many syllables they hear, where are they going to break the word, and so on. You can help with your insert shapes and cut the words as they say it on the screen live in front of them. They like that as well. So you want to keep their eye on the screen. My advice and my inshallah request that's going to be from my teachers for the time to come is that to keep being digital even after this, because we love it, the kids loved it. I feel like they are really learning much better and they are more excited about the learning. So we should keep to extend our class time, keep e-learning past the coronavirus issue for tutoring, for summer programs, for clubs and stuff like that, inshallah. Sister Hanan, okay, Sister Hanan is reminding us to be think out of the box and be creative. When I see this picture, I love this picture. I was doing sentences with my students, so we wanted to say verbal and nominal sentences. So this was a nice picture to have action and a human and a horse in it, and we can name what's there. We can talk about the action they are doing. We can make conjunction because there is two of them, and we played a lot with them to make sentences on the screen live with them, and they loved it. Sister Hanan, go on. This is what we usually used before. Like Sister Hanan said, it was mostly hands-on. Like there's figures, there is shapes representing the parts of speech. There is a lot of interaction in Bayaan Academy for the preschoolers, but we had to go make that into e-learning now. So this particular activity, you can keep doing something like that even if they don't have this in their hands. Can you go back one slide, Sister Hanan? Figuring the missing letter. They have, this was done in PK3, was done in PK4 live. So they have those cards with the images that she taught them as flashcards, Qamar, Shams, and so on. They know the word when they see the picture, even if they can't read. And the very interesting thing is that we noticed that they can figure the sound that's missing. They don't know the letters yet. I'm sorry, they didn't know how to read words together yet. And they maybe didn't even take harakat yet, just the separate letters. They were PK3 and PK4. Just looking at Shams, they can say to themselves Shams. And if I give them meme and sin, they figure out the missing component is the sheen, they find it, they clip it on it, and they have fun. So something like that is also interactive PowerPoints for them. Yes?
This is something that comes up especially for this area. Have you found anything online that teachers can use? I see here you have this activity. Is this a program?
This is all homemade, right? And I wanted to say to academics teacher, you're so lucky. There's a lot of help there. We're trying to make our own things, but Sister Hanan is sending a list of useful links that we were able to use as well. So Sister Hanan, can we go back one slide?
Can you put the links in the chat box for us? Shaza, can you try to do that?
Sister Hanan, were you able to send the email?
Yeah, I sent the links in the email.
So here, for example, if you want to do the wa'i sauti thing that we did as hands on or something in classroom, you can have this slide and they can see the word and you can shop it with them and they can see the components of the word. The other one on the next to it, the green one, is just like it can make patterns with them. You can put a letter and ask what is next, or whatever patterns you want to make, and then they can make it the same pattern on the next line, or they can guess what's next. Yalla, Sister Hannah. This is I do with older kids. I give them the root, and then they can keep giving me as many words they can derive out of this root, and it's a blast for them. They can go up to 70 words from some roots, and it's mind-blowing. They keep changing between nouns and verbs and past and present, and for singular, for second person, first person, they go up to 70 words, and it's just like tireless, and we ran out of space on the figure, and they have more to say. You can keep doing your grammar also on some interactive slides and so on. Sister Hannah, next. So now we're going to view some of the videos that were taken on a short notice from our classes. I hope it gives just a little bit of an idea what the kids, how to keep their eyes on the screen. Faddali, Sister Hannah. Share the computer sound, please. Someone asked while Sister Hannah is sitting this, if we can share some of the PowerPoints. I actually did send to Sister Shada and Sister Layla some of the PowerPoints. And then other words will keep falling on the screen and they will read the next word they attempt. Everybody takes turns. So this keeps their eyes, it keeps their attention. Sister Hannah, next. Quran time. Sharing screen. I just have to say that these are Sister Hannah's first graders. They're not kindergarten, but mashallah, this is their first practice of the surah. And the student is actually reading the words and the class is repeating after her. She can read the words that she's saying. This is not something they memorized. It was the first day they have the ayahs, and mashallah, they are capable of reading. Sister Hanan, can we go next? This kindergarten, K4, Sister Hanan. This is K4.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
مدولي
ما شاء الله.
أنتي رايا ما شاء الله.
رايا ما شاء الله اسم kindergarten. الله يفتح عليك يا حبيبتي.
ما شاء الله يا رايا.
This is Miss Dahlia. This is a kindergarten or four-year-olds. Kindergarten. 5-year-olds. Okay.
سنتي وهذه
They can read words with harakat and tanween and mad and sukoon.
MashaAllah.
So it's the same thing. Breaking the words with the syllables and putting it together makes it easier, following the Nurania model. Next
and so you guys have 2 to 3 students per Arabic?
No. I intentionally, because I want you please not to focus with the names of the students and the images. I am trying to get the camera, not to get the kids in the. I'm trying not to get the whole class in the image as much as I can. But in some classes, you have 9 students, you have 7 students, you have 10 students, and that's because we split the classes. She normally would have 16 in the class, but she, instead of giving like an hour, she would give a 40 minutes, and then she would split with another colleague, and she helped her with her classes. Both help each other, but they doubled their classes. They did more work, but I felt that the students will benefit more. I wouldn't put 16 on a screen.
Okay.
At this age, you know. For the older kids, we did not split classes, but for the PreK and kindergarten and first grade, we split the classes. Sister Hannah?
زينب جو. أحسنت يا زينب. وهذه
جو. عين.
عين.
جوع.
جوع. أحسنت يا زينب ما شاء الله.
هذا من فضل ربي.
And this is one of the things that they are used to say, mashallah, to say هذا من فضل ربي if she told them good, and they say to each other, mashallah, and they have to reply to each other, هذا من فضل ربي, to bring it all to Allah's bounties on them. Sister Hanan, next slide.
هي نقرأ. كاف كسراكي.
This is PreK class.
كاف كسرتين.
This is K4.
Yes, correct. كاف كسرتين كين. جيم كسراجي.
We're teaching them
جين.
tanween, which is a hard concept for them. So I had to bring up this quick idea and try to say that this is what you see, but this is what you hear. And they interacted very good to it. And then the next day we came with a Google slide, drag and drop.
Click to give them the thumb up, Sister Hanan. Very good, mashallah, good job.
They wait for those animated figures. They wait for the check sign or for the thumb up or for to make sure they did it right, Sister Hanan.
So these are the interactive PowerPoints that you guys mentioned that you're creating? You created this?
سامعة. سامعة. ما معنى سامعة يا
Sister
فاطمة؟
Dahlia, is
Can you
this
pause
a,
it, Sister Hanan, please? Yes.
is this an interactive PowerPoint or what is this?
This one is not drag and drop. The interaction here is that it's like they guess before we continue and they give the answer and then we continue as they say the answer. And there's quizzes on it. But the next one is drag and drop. Can you go one step back, Sister Hannah? Just let him hear the kids. تفضل.
ماذا فعل الولد؟ سامعة. سامعة. ما معنى سامعة يا فاطمة؟ He heard. Thank you يا فاطمة. ما شاء الله.
Again, she's saying هذا من فضل ربي. This is K4. And the hushing is a mom, it's not the teacher.
ياسين ماذا فعل الولد؟ نظر الولد. أحسنت ياسين. ما معنى نظر؟
He's Indian.
He looked. He looked.
And he is 4 years old.
Thank you. Thank you, Yasin.
This is our way to give them the roots of the Arabic language in the form of action words. It's easy for them to remember the action word, but this is the Arabic roots.
I'm gonna take the quiz.
Now one of them wants to take the quiz.
ماذا فعل الولد؟ Okay, I signed Abdullah for now. Inshallah, we will keep doing it every time, inshallah. Okay, ماذا فعل الولد؟ هل سمع أم نظر؟
Who are you talking to?
Abdullah, to you, Abdullah. هل سمع أم نظر؟ نظر. Let's see, Abdullah. Yes, you did it, ما شاء الله. نظر. Check mark يا Abdullah.
And the Zoom viewing is slowing down the PowerPoints. It looks like it's hazy and it's not, but it's much more interesting in class.
Ms. Delia, how are these made? I know you mentioned to me before.
I want to try to show now if we can have a minute, and if it didn't work, we can have something particularly for this, for only the Arabic teacher they are interested in.
Okay.
So this one is a Google slide and it's a drag and drop. This one, the actually can hold the mouse and move things on. Sister Hanan?
The letter on the top left.
Can you start it from beginning, Sister Hanan?
And what does it have? So who's gonna do this one with me? Who's gonna read me the letter? Yalla ya Sana. Read the letter on the top left. And what does it have? تاء ضمتين فتحتين, or can you look it up?
Yes,
كسرة.
Excellent. Now we want to drag the apple ya sana to the right sound. Which basket has the right sound?
Second. This one.
Excellent. Can we try to drag it? Click on the apple. Keep your mouse.
That's their second day on this concept.
Excellent, Yasana. Can we see the next slide to see if you got it right?
The first day to use the drag and drop, and the second day of introducing the concept of tanween. Alhamdulillah, this is working.
Allah, who's gonna do the next?
I think this was the last one, Sister Hanan.
Yes.
Okay, so I am ready now to share screen if you want to stop sharing screen.
Miss Delia, you want to
Yes.
start? You want to share the screen?
I don't know now. It's almost 6 o'clock. What do you think?
I think if there are people who want to stay on, they can, and if there are those people who don't want to, or just set aside an hour for this, that's fine too. How long do you need?
I think 15 minutes, inshallah.
Yeah. So I want to suggest
10
that
to
we
15.
go ahead and answer the questions, the general questions about the pre-K and KG. And then Sister Leila, I'll leave it to you to decide. And we really appreciate you, Sister Delia, offering to teach us how to make that, because I think that that could be used for several different subjects, not just Arabic.
Yes.
Sister Leila, does that sound like a good plan to go ahead with the general questions and then continue?
Yes, thank you all, Hanan and Stelia. That was incredible to watch what you've been doing, mashallah. So we'll do a few questions for a few minutes, and then we'll go back to Miss Delia to show us how those slides were made. Is that all right, Miss Delia?
Inshallah, if
Okay.
If that's what you.
Okay.
Great, thank you. So I've been writing down the questions that you guys have been asking in the chat, in the Zoom chat. So Melissa, if you want to also unmute yourself, and Sister Omnia. Really quick, if we can just go really quickly with the questions and answers. So really short answers, inshallah, so that we can get to them. There's a bunch. Many people are asking, how long are the kids between live sessions and assigned work? Sister Melissa, I believe that would be yours and Sister Omnia, since you guys both described kind of a mix of both the live sessions and the work outside of the live session.
For my live sessions, it's 2 hours daily, every day, 2 breaks, 7 minutes each. I think it's not so long because the kids get out of the chair twice. And it covers everything: language, art, math, social studies, science, reading, and writing. So basically the time will go really fast. So 2 hours for my live sessions every day, 2 breaks, 7 minutes each.
And that's kindergarten. Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So my pre-K, they have 2 30-minute sessions. 30 minutes with their classroom teacher and 30 minutes with their Quran and Arabic teacher. So 1 hour.
And I think it's important to keep in mind your class size and your students best. There's some room for flexibility there, right? Not much, but there's some room.
Right.
Okay.
For us, they have a little bit longer time. They have only the Arabic and Quran is 1 hour, but it's split also 2 half hours, and they take a break between them. And they have the academic and a good break, lunch break between the academics and the Quran.
Okay.
So they have a little bit longer time than this. I think in academics they have an hour and a half, Sister Omnia, in the K4.
They have 2 hours academic, and then they have 30 minutes between academic and Quran and Arabic break.
But the 2 hours academics also, they are split. They have 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour after the hifz. So it's
no, for academic, it's 2 hours direct in the morning from 9 to 11.
For you, for the kindergarten.
For kindergarten, yes.
Pre-K
Pre-K is different, yeah.
Pre-K have an hour in the morning, and then they have Quran, and then they have
Oh,
another hour.
here's Sister Samira.
Oh, Sister Samira is here.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
All right, Ms. Shadra, next
For
question.
kindergarten, I think there's one question for kindergarten, say what time live sessions start. I start at 9 o'clock in the morning and end up at 11. So this is 2 hours.
Okay.
And then are you guys conducting them every day, or is Friday off? Or?
Every day, Friday off, yes. 4
Friday.
days a week, yeah.
We have every day. We don't have Friday off.
Okay. And Sister Melissa kind of answered this, but and maybe the other sisters from Bayaan might know. How are you addressing parents who may be asking to withdraw?
What do you mean, withdraw from the class, from the year, or?
Yeah, from the school.
We had this one incident, not incident, yeah, there's no reason for it, but in my opinion, yeah, but that was a family decision, that a PreK student who is kind of more active than the others, and in class we had to try to bring him to keep paying attention, so it was harder for him online. And Sister Samira felt that he's being exposed. Other parents are also sitting and they see what he's doing, and mom felt frustration and she didn't want him to continue the year. Sister Hanan, may Allah reward her the best, she never left a session before he gave the answers because she was very patient with him. So he was learning, but it was like something. So mom elected to keep him, but we communicated with her that it will have to be like one-on-one summer so that he's ready for the next school year. And we let him have, but this was isolated in the whole school. We didn't hear from any other students the same thoughts or requests. Everybody is happy about e-learning.
What I really love about your answer, Sister Dalia, is that it sounds like you guys weren't, there's no student that you guys feel is beyond, you know, learning, and that there's still an effort, that there's going to be the one-on-one. So the school is still maintaining connection, mashallah. I think that that's really, really beautiful. I think that the question is probably more prevalent, especially for 3-year-olds, and that's something that we've heard a lot as well.
I think there was another questions asking about how we get contact with parents. For my class, I have Google Class as well to put given assignments or put announcement, anything in the Google Class. This is for the parents, not for my student. And the Zoom session is for the class, for the student every month. So Google Class to communicate with parents, and Zoom for the student sessions.
Okay.
We hear some comments on the Zoom, on the group chat. Are parents okay with this long screen time, 2 hours? Have you guys heard any negative feedback, Melissa, or any of
the only thing I used to give them one break, and they ask for another break, so that's why I give them 2 breaks now. But they're good with 2 hours. Actually, it goes fast, the hours, when they work and they do activities, they read, they have I do a story online, so it takes about 10-15 minutes. After we finish the story, we ask questions, and I ask all the students, they're all in the screen, I go one by one, they write words, anything. So they keep them busy all the time. They're not gonna feel the 2 hours. It's not gonna be that.
We have some questions about parent engagement, so let me just kind of group those together and then have you guys address this. In particular with the younger children, maybe 3 and 4-year-olds in particular, KG as well. What do you do with parents who don't like to be on Google Classroom and participate? And how do you address if both the parents are working and can't help and stay with their little ones? How, I guess maybe the question is, how autonomous can these kids be? How much parent involvement is needed, and how do you get parents to engage with all these different constraints?
I think Sister Dalia can answer this question.
Yeah, I was waiting for Sister Hanan. I saw the yellow accounts to her. Did you want to say something, Sister Hanan? You're muted. Okay.
Can you say the question
So
again?
we were asking, did you feel like parents are complaining having to be next to the children? You are a mom yourself.
No,
You're a teacher
I'm
and
a mom
and
of
you have to
PreK. I'm a mom of PreK. Alhamdulillah, my daughter, she was doing work with her own while I'm teaching, and she was engaged with Sister Samira, alhamdulillah, and she's doing her work. I was an exception because I'm teaching at the same time. I cannot, I stay for some time and go to teach. The other parents were with their kids, and they're doing amazing. Alhamdulillah, we have wonderful parents, and they're helping their kids, and they even want to learn with them. Alhamdulillah, they're doing really good, and they're happy to help and to stay with their kids. Alhamdulillah.
I want to say we just made it mandatory for the K4, particularly if there's someone who's teaching K3. This year we're not teaching K3. but K4, they really need someone with them. And in most cases, parents were willing to be, and the time is shorter. If you're doing 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, depend on the class. In our school, we're giving them like a little bit longer time, but it's shorter than their usual day, half than the usual day. But for the older kids as well, we're requesting parents to go around and see what the kids are doing. Yeah, for everybody, we're requesting that parents go around and have a look at the screen every now and then, and everybody's working from home anyway. So for to make sure that everybody's complying with we send online policy, we have signatures, we have even meetings, Zoom meetings about amana and about trust and about these things, and we encourage them to use online learning judiciously, but still there are some things there and here and there, and we have parental supervision to help.
So what we did is we sent out surveys. I think after the first week, how do you feel about the sessions, and how long do you want the sessions? We're still getting it. So that's why we kind of adjusted from 15 minutes, 30 minutes. And I'm planning to do 2 days a week, 45 minutes with the pre-K, because I felt that we need more. But I'm just waiting for them to respond. So we kind of left it to the parents to kind of vote for what they want, because but for the 2 and 3 year olds, they want to keep it short. That's
an excellent point, Melissa. I think it's really important to survey your parents. We did the same thing, and we actually made adjustments from week to week sometimes based on the feedback. And this is a learning process, and there's a learning curve every week or every couple of weeks. So you may have to make changes as we continue with this process. And so keep that in mind for your classes and for your schools as well. Let's do one more question, and then I'd like to go ahead with Dalia's presentation. Do we have any more questions, Sheza?
I mean, I think that what I see here is Sister Brenda is asking, is there another method that a teacher can use other than screen time, given that, the recommended screen time for a 5-year-old, for example, is 1 hour a day. And I think that my thought was just that this is something that all the schools have to kind of analyze and assess, but there was that distance learning. The materials that were sent home, some people asked about whether or not it's safe to ask parents to come and pick up those. I know that with Bayaan Academy, Miss Magda had a premonition that the school would be closing, that everything would be closing, and she had the parents come and pick up things beforehand. But yeah. So
we had this pre-planned, and whatever is left, like Sister Melissa does, it's delivered to their door without them even have to open the door for anything.
Right. That's
we did. It is a challenge, and the younger age, longer screen time, it is something that's bothering me. Everybody, actually, even the older kids. Teachers get headache. Yeah. Teachers get a lot of headache.
This is a good point.
There's something.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one as we go along. I think with all the warnings about screen time was before this epidemic occurred, and now we're being forced to ask kids to sit in front of the screen, and adults. Just think about how long the teachers are sitting in preparation and doing the lessons and then doing the instruction. So I think that's really important in the long run to keep in mind about the well-being of our teachers and our students, and maybe having more breaks, changing the schedule so that we're not sitting for 2 hours, that we're giving ourselves some time to walk away from the screen. And that's something maybe we have to look into. I know I don't know if there are any more burning questions. Yes.
And I know that you want to transition to the demo now, and I think that that's great. I would love for us to also transition to the demo. Can I request that you stop this recording and then start recording right before the demo, so that we can have a separate recording of just the 15-minute demo that we can share out? And I think that that'd be kind of quicker and easier for people to access. I hope that works. And
I don't know if it works, because it starts converting after you stop the session.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It does, but it'll give me 2 files.
Yes.
And you're right, uploading a large file is really hard. So I'm going to stop the recording now.
That's great.
Right now.